Hello everyone, I am Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and this is the pledges, the Kickstarters coming up in April. And before we dive into that, happy Passover to those who celebrate, although, well, that's me, I'm celebrating, which means I am actually completely offline since sunset Friday. I've been offline through tomorrow night, through Monday night. I will be completely offline. I'll respond to all comments as usual when I get back online and respond to a whole bunch of videos worth of comments, but all that is a complete aside. Enjoy your day. I'm probably playing board games right now as we speak. In any case, moving on from there, so this is going to be the what's coming up in April Kickstarters, and before we dive into that, if you're wondering why I see shelf clutter on the screen behind me, it's because Adam does these videos every single week. They're coming to Kickstarters every single week. He does this. If you want that information on a weekly basis when it is most accurate, keep in mind, things I'm telling you now, their dates might be changed, things might be moved around. One of the Kickstarters we're going to be covering today is going to be a Kickstarter that was supposed to go live, well, a week ago, and they pushed it off 2 weeks. Things constantly change, and once a month is not enough. If you want your weekly news as far as what's going up in Kickstarter, make sure to subscribe to Shelf Clutter. I'll throw a link in the description down below, and past that, and by the way, if you're a publisher or whatnot, I'll throw a link down below as well to a form you can fill out to ensure your Kickstarter is covered both by Adam and by myself when we do our respective lists. Moving on from there, let's start off the bat with Amass. Amass, a battle for resources on Planet X, is going to be one that is probably already on Kickstarter, but I'm filming this video a little bit early because of the whole offline thing. So Amass is probably currently on Kickstarter. This is one that's a battle for resources on Planet X. It's a game, well, I don't know a ton about the game, but 60 minutes, 1 to 6 players. Solo mode, obviously, and it's one where you are battling for resources, putting down your people, and having different battles to acquire resources to ultimately achieve endgame either through scoring or through filling up your area first. That'll be coming, that's already on Kickstarter. V-Commandos Deluxe is probably already on Kickstarter. In fact, depending, I think this video is going up on Sunday, which means probably tomorrow it is going up on Kickstarter. Yeah, probably V-Commandos Deluxe is going up on Kickstarter probably tomorrow on March 29th. Gotta get those months right. And I will have a video going up March 29th as well, with a playthrough and first impressions of the new content for this game. This is both the deluxe version with all the extra miniatures and extra content and all that, as well as a new expansion, the Ghost expansion, introducing new things to the game, from XP, from danger tokens, from luck tokens, from true solo where you control a single commando the whole way through, to a campaign mode that stretches and combines together multiple operations in the game. Lots of new ways to play the game, lots of new adjustments, and again, I have a playthrough and first impressions coming up, but Kickstarter goes live on the 29th. From there, we have Magna Roma, with the Kickstarter going live on March 30th. Magna Roma is going to be, and again, some of these I understand are in March, but hey, the video is going up beforehand, so why not? But Magna Roma is going to be a tile-laying game taking place in the greatest city of Rome, or whatever it is, in which you are building out the city by drafting tiles from a little central rondel-type area. Not really true rondel, but a circular area. That counts, right? And you're going to be taking those tiles, and you're going to be placing them into your city to achieve different scoring objectives, to line up different symbols to score in different ways. Perhaps you need money, perhaps you need citizens, perhaps you need, glory, the god's glory track, any number of these different facets of the game that you're trying to balance as you place down these tiles and manage multiple different scoring objectives in the game in a cohesive engine that you are building with multiple paths to victory. This is one that I believe I already have a playthrough and review up on the channel, and that was a bit of a sad playthrough because we filmed the whole thing and then realized the top camera wasn't on and had to figure out kind of half solutions to that problem. It's nothing quite as fun as being late at night and filming an hour-long playthrough and realizing you never turned on one of your cameras. But you live and you learn. It's part of the price you pay. Moving on from there, we have Vigilante. Vigilante is coming to Kickstarter, I believe, March 30th as well. It's going to be a 3 to 5 player game where you recruit heroes and fight crime to secret objectives. I don't know a ton about this game. It's going to have, let's see, we have the right page over here. It has action points, cooperative, deck bag building. It's going to be a cooperative game, I believe, variety of scenarios, player preferences. You take a team of heroes, fight back swarm of villains. All those are generic keywords to the idea that, I mean, hey, it looks cool. If you look at some of the art of the game, these cards look cool. I'm always wary of cards because on the one hand they can provide such incredible experiences such as Marvel Champions, such a fun game to play. Lots of other games that Marvel Champions is just the only one that's coming to mind at the moment. But card-based games that give you a ton of cards, and this does have more than just cards, to be clear, but they give you a lot that you can do with the experience, but also card games are a dime a dozen at the same time. So I'm intrigued. The art looks great, the text, the abilities, all this. I am certainly intrigued by Vigilante, and I'll be paying attention to it when it shows up. From there, we have Lasting Tales coming March 30th. This is going to be coming from Blacklist Games, and Lasting Tales is giving you both the Fantasy Series 2 plus the Fantasy Series 1 combined into a miniatures tabletop experience, one that I personally have no interest because the gameplay seems to look like this. And so this, by the way, may or may not turn off different people depending on who you are as a gamer, what you are looking for. But this screams tabletop experience, measuring your how far you can move, managing all those types of things, which is just not the experience I personally am looking for in my miniatures board games. I don't want Warhammer 2.0. I want, well, Blood Rage and Zombicide and all kinds of games like that, skirmish games like Bloodstone or Super Fantasy Brawl. I'm not looking for measuring and stats and all those things. That said, that just means it's not a game for me. It does not mean it's not a game for you. So if you are paying attention, or if you just want more miniatures, Fantasy Series 2, more Fantasy Series 1, I'm sure you'll be able to get that as well. You'll probably be able to back the horror series. They'll probably give you all this stuff, because why wouldn't they? And so that's going to be coming to you March 30th. From there, we have Longshot the Dice Game, also coming to you March 30th. This is one that, again, I have a playthrough and review on the channel already. I think on the channel already, probably yesterday, I think, we'll see. But Longshot the Dice Game is one that is basically a roll and write version of Longshot the board game, a board game that came out quite some time ago, and Perplex Games is bringing you the new, they're the ones who came out with Roll and Write, not Roll and Write, Roland Right. That's a name. Roland Right. It's very confusing. It looks a lot better if you're actually on the page. But in any case, maybe why don't we go ahead to the page. Let's see if we can go ahead and head over to their 3 creator, because it'll make a whole lot more sense. But if you click over here, we have Roland Wright. You see, that looks good over there. Now, Roland Wright, I haven't actually played that one, but I have played Longshot the Dice Game, and Longshot the Dice Game is fun. It's pretty fun. If you pay attention to, well, watch my review and final thoughts for all of that. But overall, it is a lightweight game. It's a typical Roland Wright. It's not going to be giving you the deepest of gameplays. It is not the most amazing experience, but it provides decent fun betting, lots of options to choose from, and overall a solid experience. Pay attention to that one on Kickstarter March 30th. From there, we're going to have Eldfall, I believe. Eldfall Chronicles coming to you March 30th. Now, this one, I'm not sure if it's still on for March 30th. I have the date listed. I didn't see a new date, but I also haven't seen anything new recently about this game. This is going to be giving to you, similar to what we talked about with Lasting Tales, similar to that, we're going to be having a kind of more heavier miniatures experience with lots of stats, lots of measuring distance and all of that as you go through the game. You can see the miniatures over here as I scroll through the page. You can't see the actual board, but I've been on the Tabletop Simulator. You can see a stats card over here. There's lots going on in this game. This is going to be a deep experience for those who are interested. Not one that personally appeals to me because of that whole aversion to measuring and too many stats, and I just want to roll dice and hit people, or not always roll dice. Card plays good for me too. But Eldfall Chronicles potentially coming to you March 30th. If that's still the date, I don't really know. We'll find out from there. Moving on to there, we have Florence. Florence is going to be coming to you April 1st. Now we officially start moving into April, so this whole video, and Eldfall Chronicles was actually, March 30th. So, Florence is coming to you in April 1st. This is the first of the April Kickstarters in this list, and it's going to be an opulent area control for 1 to 5 players. This is the same company that brought you, I remember, Venice and one other, Venice and Ragusa. Venice and Ragusa are going to be 2 games from them. I played Ragusa, wasn't really a game for me. Venice looks amazing. I had not had the opportunity to play that one. And the game overall is, a Euro-style area. I'm going to read this straight from the page because honestly, there's no way I could remember this myself. Euro-style area control game, which the regions you want to hold change each round as the Medici move around the city attending various functions. Over 9 rounds, each player dispatches family members to attend parties, give gifts, brag about their achievements, engage in spurious gossip. Do not engage in spurious gossip. It is mean-spirited. Do not do that. Engage in meaningful conversation and muscle the way through crowds to get some valuable face time with the Medici. The chief resource in Florence is time. As the carnival moves into full swing in the streets filled with revelers, they will become harder to navigate, and you will need to be cautious of which actions you ask for your various scions to complete. Now, I don't know anything about the game, but this does look pretty, right? I mean, this looks pretty. I'm intrigued as to what the engine, the puzzle of this game state is, and we'll potentially find out more on April 1st. Moving on to there, we have Planet Fulcrum, another April 1st game. This is one where I know nothing about other than, well, it's over here as well. We can pop up another little page. It's a strategic 1 to 4 player area control game with tech tree, character development, deck-driven battle. It's going to have area majority, area movement, pick up and deliver. Pick up and deliver, I'm not a huge fan of. Take that, which I'm also not a huge fan of, but I will still be paying attention to see whether this one works for me or not. We'll have to wait and see. From there, we have Mythic Battles Ragnarok. This one was pushed off from being, I think, March 23rd originally, and it is now set for an April 5th delivery date, April 5th Kickstarter date. And this is going to be, obviously, Mythic Battles Ragnarok, a game that is the next version, the next iteration of Mythic Battles, a huge, ridiculous, monolithic, see what I did there, approach to a board game. It's going to have, 2-player head-to-head combat with drafting your units, your heroes, your gods, your whatevers, and then you upgrading them throughout the course of the game, or perhaps, I don't know if you upgrade them throughout the course of the game. I think you actually go down levels as you take damage. You become less efficient as you take damage, as your characters get hit, while you try to vie for the strategic objectives in the game and roll dice and stack them and attach them and do all of that. It is a game that I had the opportunity to play a few times and wasn't as pulled in as I would like to be, but make sure to pay attention to King of Average's channel. I believe he will be having an unboxing and review of the content. He is a huge fan of the series, and I think he's a huge fan of the series. If I got that wrong, I apologize, Michael. But it's going to be that, and then, of course, well, the new content from Mythic Battles Ragnarok. And then from there we have Hippocrates. So, Hippocrates, and by the way, for those who paid attention, in my late pledge video that I did the other day, I said, and yeah, Game Brewer is going to have Hippocrates coming up soon, and no one commented. In fact, I got a comment privately from someone else about it, but basically no one either caught that or just decided to let it go as another Alex mispronunciation. But I actually do know how to pronounce Hippocrates. I just was thrown off in the heat of the moment. I am mortally embarrassed. Truly, I'm mortally embarrassed. It's one thing, if I don't know the name, then fine, it's a learning moment. But if I know it and I do it wrong, there's no excuse for that. But Hippocrates is going to be coming to you from Game Brewer on April 5th, and the game looks amazing. I don't know a ton about the game, but travel back to Greece in 370 BC. I'm skipping that. The game lasts 4 rounds, each divided into 5 phases. Each player welcomes 3 patients to their hospital. You need to select your patients that you can help manage, but also urgent patients will be more. You'll lose notoriety if you ignore them. You're going to have to remunerate your doctors, pay them for their time. Then you can hire new doctors and purchase medicine kits. All in all, and you go through that for a few rounds. But basically, the game, first of all, the game looks amazing. Look at this picture. It looks amazing. This is one of the Game Brewer games I am more likely to back, considering I missed out on their last 2 games. I did not back. Time Benders, I skipped it. It wasn't as pulled in by it. The other one, which I constantly forget the name, the Russian one, I can't remember the name of it. But the other one, I ended up passing on. I was very pulled in by it, and I almost did back it, but I did pass it in the end. But Hippocrates is one that the art, the components about the game, everything looks amazing. It does look like a more heavier version of Dice Hospital. Again, I say that with no awareness of the actual gameplay and how it pulls out, but just knowing the company and knowing Dice Hospital, which I did have the opportunity to play, I think it is likely a heavier version of Dice Hospital, different enough in the actual gameplay, yet sharing similar overlaps in the theme and mechanisms of the game. And so overall, I'm paying attention to this one. I'll almost certainly be backing it. And from there, we move on to Eos Islands of Angels, coming on April 6th, at least as of now. And this is another one. This is going to be coming to you from Grey Fox Games and King Raccoon Games, who paired up in the past on Tsukunami. I'm saying that, I'm probably butchering that. I'm not going to try to do it, but it's coming from them. And in ancient times, we have its exciting engine builder for 2 to 5 players, which includes worker placement, rolls with asymmetric information. It has drafting. I don't know if it's real drafting or like take from a table drafting. If it's real drafting, I'm already interested. I like any game that has, real drafting. Real drafting to me, by the way, means passing cards hand to hand as you pick and choose and decide which cards work for you, which cards help your opponent, and trying to choose from options that none of them are ideal for you. And from there, we move on to Hexplore on GameFound. This is going to be an April 6th game on GameFound. April 6th, 14 days to go, which I guess tells you when I'm recording this video, so I guess you can figure that out now. But overall, not that it's a big secret, I don't particularly care. Hexplore is going to be the newest iteration in the Hexplore series, a game that has constantly developed, a game that I never had the opportunity to play. It's been one that I'm constantly tempted by, but it's another huge system full of tons and tons of content, and I'm already trying to get rid of or back fewer of these games as it is. That said, if not for that constraint on just having too many games I'm interested in, I would absolutely be all over this one. The game, it's like its 4th or 5th iteration of the game, 4th or 5th, version or new expansion, whatever it is. This game has an audience, and it's this, roll, you write on, I believe you actually write on your components in terms of, you write on your stat cards and you upgrade your stats as you go through this game. Looks incredibly deep, looks incredibly overwhelming. This theme doesn't, I like the Van Helsing kind of character over here, so I'm intrigued. We'll see what this one does. We'll see how well this one does. I'm more and more intrigued. In fact, as I film this, we have Robinson Crusoe going up today, so we're seeing more and more what GameFound can bring to the table, what it will be doing for various people. In fact, Robinson Crusoe is going up in 8 minutes, apparently. Maybe we'll come back to it at the end of the video and see just how quickly that shoots up. It'd be fun, a little bit of a hindsight in the future, watching as I experience the past. Moving on from there, we have Level 99 Games bringing you Imperial Spells and Steam as an expansion or a reprint, and I assume an expansion because it's coming on Kickstarter, which means they have to have new content. This is going to be launching April 6th, and Imperial Spells and Steam, if you're not familiar, you can go ahead and watch 3 Minute Board Games overview of the game. You can watch, I believe The Hungry Gamer has a review of it, a bunch of people who have different content around the game, and it's one that I have in my collection. I want to get it to the table. I have not yet had the opportunity to do so, but overall, I'm intrigued, and now I'm scrolling down to Pixel Tactics. I've gone too far. So Imperial Spells and Steam is going to be a train game kind kind of set in the future as you manage like spells and magic and train games and all those things. Overall seems intriguing, overall seems interesting. I'm paying attention to this one. Maybe I'll get my copy played in time, we will see. From there we have Mosaic coming on, I believe, May 11th. Did they change the date? Do I have this wrong? I think I have this wrong. Nope, I have this as April 13th. They've changed the date on Mosaic. Mosaic is not coming now. You can ignore this one, but I guess see this what I mean. I have this one locked in as April 13th, and apparently they have changed it. So this will be coming May 11th. This is going to be designed by Glenn Drover, and that is basically Glenn Drover from Age of Empires, Whale Wars of the World, Sid Meier's Civilization, Raccoon Tycoon, lots of games, Lizard Wizard. So overall, I'm paying attention for all of those things, but also apparently moving on to it because it's not an upcoming April Kickstarter. Next up, we have Cellulose coming on April 13th. Cellulose is going to be the next iteration in the game by Genius Games. The one that's going to be most notable is Cytosis, which had 6,000 backers on Kickstarter, $389,000 raised, and this is bringing you another iteration of this science/board game combination worker placement where you're inside a plant cell, competing over limited resources, trying to win the game. Overall, looks intriguing. I never had the opportunity to actually play Cytosis. I'm curious, if you have played Cytosis, what's your opinion of it? Let me know. I mean, 2016, Stonemaier designed a highest rated game. That's certainly something. 6,600 backers. That's certainly something. That's lots of reasons to pay attention to the game. I should probably get it. My wife would probably appreciate it. She's a teacher. She likes all these kinds of things. So we'll see. Maybe I'll ask her. We'll find out. Anyways, moving on from there, we have Hidden Leaders. Hidden Leaders is going to be April 20th coming to Kickstarter April 20th. Hidden Leaders is a game that I will have content around this game. I've had the opportunity to play it a few times. It effectively involves people getting a hidden role, a role that defines who they're trying to have win, because there are 4 different factions in this game. There's blue, red, green, and black, and they have different names as well, but effectively Blue wants peace. They want the factions to be in alignment. The red and green are trying to vie for competition over each other and trying to exceed the other. And black, the underworld, wants everyone to basically die in battle. And so they all have these different objectives, and you are aligned with 2 factions at any given point, and you start playing cards to try to help one of your 2 factions win, because if you have your faction win, then you are in competition for winning, but possibly other players may as well. And so you need to not just ensure that the faction you want to win wins, but you also need to ensure that you have the most weight, or the most something influence, let's call it influence, the most influence with that faction through having played heroes of that faction onto the board, either face up or face down. It is a fun, lightweight game that involves playing cards, using abilities, and trying to vie for a winner leader in that game. Overall, worth paying attention to, coming to Kickstarter April 20th. From there, we have Monster Hunter World coming to Kickstarter on April 20th as well. And this is going to be one that I will have gameplay up somewhere. I may have gameplay up this week, I'm not sure. I'll both have Tabletop Simulator gameplay as well as an actual review of the game, probably with gameplay, hopefully, not 100% certain, we will see, but overall, there'll be definitely content coming from me around the game. Overall, I've had the opportunity to play it once, again, so far only on Tabletop Simulator, but there will be more as well coming. And this is one that's worth paying attention to. It's going to be coming to Kickstarter April 20, and it's going to be doing millions of dollars in funding. Absolutely pay attention to this one, and that is going to be Monster Hunter World. Then from there we have It's a Wonderful Kingdom coming to Kickstarter April 20th, tentatively, at least the last date I have. This is going to be the expansion, the standalone solo or 2-player game to It's a Wonderful World, bringing you similar mechanisms of It's a Wonderful World. It'll be giving you a new game system around that. So not the exact same game, similar game in a 1 to 2 player game, coming to you from La Botte de Jeu, I believe is how you pronounce it. I could be horrifically wrong on that. Then we have Impendium and Deluxe reprint coming to you April 26th. This is going to be the expansion. Impendium is the new standalone game in the Deluxe gameplay role to Dragon Age Games. They already had a Kickstarter for Deluxe, and they have Impendium coming up as well. Then from there we have Cyber Odyssey. Then this is one where it's April 27th is the last date I have. I have no idea how accurate that is or isn't, because, well, ultimately, there's not a lot of things around this game. This game doesn't even exist on Board Game Geek. You see over here, April 27th on Kickstarter as of 20 hours ago. Sure, it's not on Board Game Geek. Is it a board game, a miniatures game? I don't know a lot about this game, but maybe it'll be big. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see from there. Anyways, Velocity Vanguard. This is where we start moving into not having dates at all. This is where we start going to just generic April games. So Velocity Vanguard was at one point supposed to relaunch in February, but it's past that, and then March, I guess, and now April. So I'm not sure. At some point it will be coming, I assume. I hope. I really do hope, because I've had the opportunity to play this one, and I really enjoyed the puzzle that it was bringing to the table. So I absolutely want to see this one. I'm looking forward to that. Then we have Gindi, Final Fusion. This again is a tentative April 1, coming to Kickstarter quarter 2. Okay, they've changed that, not an April one. So Final Fusion, which is bringing you a mashup style gameplay, smash up style gameplay, is apparently coming to you in Q2. No, April. April is Q2. So maybe it is still April. I'm not sure. We'll find out. I'll move around the dates. We'll see. Then we have Chai Tifa 2, which is supposed to be a heavier two-player version of the game Chai, bringing you similar elements of the gameplay, but being totally different at the same time. Think Seven Wonders Duel, that kind of situation, and we'll see how this one plays out, tentatively for April or May as of right now. Then we have Stationfall from Ion Game Design. Don't know a lot about the game, but, imagine dozens of random robots, humans, none of the above, each with their own abilities, goals, sequence relationships. This is another tentative April one. From there, we have Mortal Kombat X, the miniatures game. This is going to be coming to you from Jasco Games, who just recently landed Street Fighter. This is another one that is hopefully coming in April, tentatively coming in April. We'll see how that plays. I know there were delays around this one. I would not be surprised to see delays as well. And from there, we have Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is coming to you spring 2021. I don't have a more accurate or official date than that, so spring 2021 may well mean anything past April. We'll see, but it's Slay the Spire. I'm excited about it, so excited, wary, but excited, so we'll see how that one plays out. And then finally, the news of the day is going to be Fall of the Mountain King. You heard me right, that's not in the Hall of the Mountain King. That's Fall of the Mountain King. Fall of the Mountain King, coming to you from Burnt Island Games on June 1st, 2021. This is definitely not an April Kickstarter, but I just heard the news about this one today, and I'm absolutely excited to share it with you because it's, another Burnt Island Games, and it's a sequel to In the Hall of the Mountain King, a successor, different mechanisms, different gameplay, not the same game. I don't know what to expect yet. You can read what's on the page. You see it all here as much as I do. That's everything. That's everything I know about the game, but that art looks great. I am intrigued, and ultimately we shall see. Until next time, I am Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Again, if you want these weekly what's coming up in Kickstarter, make sure to subscribe to Shelf Clutter. Trust me, things will be changing through. Even in this video, you saw how things changed already multiple times, but as we go through the month, things will be added last minute. There are constantly things launching at any given point. Sure, I just gave you 20, 25 games or whatever it is coming up, but there's going to be more than that across the month. That's half, maybe half, the Kickstarters we can expect to see in April. I just don't have all the information around these games because they're constantly changing, constantly iterating around what shows up. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good one.